Another season and another quick exit from the CONCACAF Champions Cup. We've got the regular season to worry about. Our final year at Vancouver FC starts now. And welcome back, everyone, to episode number 36 of The American Dream. I am Mr. Cellophane, and just when we thought everything was going to be all hunky-dory, we're ready to take on Atletico Ottawa to get our regular season started, and a couple of members of the squad come up to us and say, we need sufficient quality depth up front, and we need it now. We literally just signed another player to play up front, but we'll get to that in just a second. I'm going to say that I'm happy with the quality of the player already at the club. Want to give an opportunity to some of our younger players, and that seems to have made them happy. So thank you all very much for coming. Now get out of my face. Thank you. And that player is, surprisingly, after all the talk we were doing in the last episode, is a Canadian. He's actually a Canadian-Portuguese dual national, capped 14 times at the U20 level. His name is Jesse Costa. He stands at 5'10", and he is incredibly versatile. Yeah, I guess he's not really an upfront player, but he is most likely going to slot in at the number 10 whenever we get the opportunity. Good dribbling, first touch. His technique is also pretty good. Lots of flair, which we like. Determination, which we like. A decent decision maker. He's got some pace on him, as well as some natural stamina, which I feel we are lacking in quite a number of spots here on our roster. We got him for free, and he's only going to cost us $1,400 a week. Okay, that's a lot of money. That's our remaining transfer budget. I mean, our remaining wage budget, but, well, you get the picture. I guess what they're complaining about is we technically only have 3 players who are strikers who are currently on the roster, and we have 2 strikers that we play each and every match. Honestly, I am not super concerned. We did make one other move during the transfer window, which still technically remains open. Stuart Murray came to us in the middle of the preseason complaining about playing time, even though he was starting many of the preseason matches. Said that he wanted a bigger role, and we really didn't have a place for it. If you have been following this channel for a while, or if you watch the Twitch streams, you will know that I do not suffer fools. And when you come to me complaining about your playing time, but you haven't really earned it, or you have someone that is obviously our front runner, which we do in George Marks. I mean, he was the goalkeeper of the year for the last couple of seasons. For Pete's sake, we decided to ship Stuart Murray off on loan for the remainder of the year, which is the entire year, to our opponent today in Atletico Ottawa. He wants to get the start. He's going to get the start, which means that Andrea Magni has been elevated to our backup goalkeeper. Hopefully we do not need to use him. A very serviceable youngster, but he is still a little wet behind the ears. Going to make some changes to start things off in the regular season. This is the lineup we are going with. It is going to be George Marks in goal. A back 3 of Juan Castillo sliding into the wide center back role as opposed to playing the left wing back. He'll be joined by Noah Abotna and Venchi. Travis and Pertuz will be our wing backs. Novias and Giovanni will man the midfield behind Elan Khanusi getting the start at the number 10, who scored 7 goals in 11 appearances in our friendly schedule. And he will be up front in support of Yevhen Ryazantsev and Alain Didier. So some of our stalwarts not in the lineup today, including Isaiah Johnston, Noah Verhoeven, and James Griffard finding himself as the odd man out. He did not make the game day squad and will not be on the bench. Hoping to bounce back from that loss in Miami. God, it's been just about 2 months since that match in game. We had a very successful preseason schedule, only picking up 1 loss that actually came before the Inter-Miami ties in January. That was against Pacific FC. We're not going to talk about that right now. We're getting things started against Atletico Ottawa, who is on the board first. Very quickly off a set piece. Fashionary off of the back post puts Atletico Ottawa up 1-0. Wasn't sure if that was us or not, because, you know, they have a Jackson. We have a Jackson. Do we have a Jackson? We have a Jackson Travis. Not a Travis Jackson, now that I think about it. First shot of the match for Atletico Ottawa, and they find pay dirt. Oh, hopefully this is not going to be a long season. Castillo to throw it in. Ryazantsev will give it back to him, playing it into the middle. Giovanni moving it to his right. Finds a lane before meeting some resistance. Pertuz for Didier into the box, behind the defense, behind the goalkeeper, and into the back of the net for his second goal of the season. And 10 minutes or so later, Vancouver has found a way to equalize. Giovanni playing it out wide for Pertuz, who finds an open Alain Didier. Great touch past the defense. Beats Cisse to tie things up at 1. Just our second shot of the match. We have managed to get both of our shots on target, however. Taking advantage of that one. 20th minute goal for Alain Didier. Hopefully he has 1 or 2 more in him. I would hate to start the season by dropping points, even though we are on the road against the team that is a little on the tougher side. And we were expecting Stuart Murray to be named the starting goalkeeper in this match, since when we loaned him out with the understanding he would be a first-choice goalkeeper. That does not appear to be the case. So are we going to hear rumblings and grumblings from Stuart Murray that he's not getting enough playing time at his new club and he wants to come home? As of right now, well, only time will tell. Approaching the hour mark, it is still 1-1 between Atletico Ottawa and Vancouver FC. Fairly even match as far as shots on goal are concerned. We are doubling them up in possession, which is kind of us playing our game. But we've got 20 minutes left to go. Let's see if we can break through. But the highlight is going the way of Atletico Ottawa. Fashionary playing it into the middle for Campagna. He'll look to the left. He's got Jackson there. Jackson pushing it forward. He'll be chased before running into some traffic. Gerardo throwing it ahead. Salter into the box. Able to play it into the middle for Kevin Cortez. And the first goal of the season for Kevin Cortez will put Atletico Ottawa back up on top. 2-1. So let's see about making some changes as Isaiah Johnston comes in place of Rodolfo Noveas. Yevon Ryazantsev will make way for Mohamedou Kane. And let's give Jesse Costa his first action of the season. We don't need to see that again now, do we? No, we most certainly do not. We're going to go into a more attacking stance. This is just what we do, and demand more from our team. The XG battle is pretty much even between the two teams, but Atletico Ottawa right now ahead on the scoreboard by a score of 2-1. Glasser directing traffic before he tosses it in from the far sideline. Not the greatest crowd here at TD Place, if you want my opinion. Glasser still in control. We'll put it on, and Marks will make a fairly routine save. 8 minutes remaining in this match. Costa with an early opportunity in his Vancouver career with the free kick from about 30 yards out or so, and he finds Pater. Jesse Costa scoring on his debut. It's Atletico Ottawa 2, Vancouver 2. Costa lines it up, finds the top corner off of the crossbar, and then the hands of Cisse to even things up. Let's see if we can get on the board just that one more time. 3 minutes added on at the end, and I don't think we're going to have enough time to do it. Oh, maybe we do. Costa with another free kick opportunity. This one coming a little bit closer, but a bit wider. Is he going to go for it, or is he going to play it into one of the players lurking on the far post? Costa waits, stands over it, takes it himself, can't curl it in. It's off of the post and cleared out by Atletico Ottawa. So that will lead to a final third throw-in that will amount to nothing. And ultimately, after all of that, we end up the match exactly where I said I didn't want us to be, and that is all even. Atletico Ottawa 2, Vancouver FC 2 to start the season with a point. Well, at least Jesse Costa put in a man-of-the-match performance. Good news for us, at the very least, we've increased our season tickets by about 40% so far this year. 1,444 season tickets have been sold so far in this season compared to 1,050 last year. So good financial news, and that could lead to those projections that we were talking about in yesterday's episode. Qualifying round of the Canadian Championship, we put an emphasis on set pieces, and it sure did pay off in the 21st minute. Wen Chi scoring his first goal of the year off of the corner, finding a hole near post, and that would be all we would need to get past Valor FC at home to move on to the second round of the competition that we got all the way to the semifinals of last year. Can we possibly win it and at least go out of Vancouver on a high? Well, we're going to have to find out now, aren't we? We will be taking on Forge FC in that matchup, but that's coming a little bit later down the line. First, we had our first BC derby of the year was on the road at Pacific FC, and a questionable foul call at the edge of the penalty box led to J-Man converting his spot kick in the 53rd minute to put Pacific FC 1-0, and they would hold on. A questionable decision to go two-footed by Matteo Schiavone in the 66th minute basically guaranteed us no chance of coming back in this one. The first of 4 BC derbies, well, that one goes to Pacific FC. Speaking of Forge FC, they were up next in our next league home matchup. Not a lot going on in the first half, but Bruyere able to dink Marks with the header to put Forge up 1-0. Alain Didier will answer just a few minutes later as he splits the defense with a beautiful touch. Pass Colella to score his second or maybe third goal of the season. Either way, we tied things up at 1. Came into this match still searching for our first win of the season in the regular season, that is. And the search, unfortunately, continues. Yet another 1-1 draw. Back at it a few days later at home against Valor FC. Felt like it was more second verse, same as the first. Nothing happening in the first half. Amon putting the bad guys up top in the early going 1-0, and then Alain Didier to the rescue. We started this match on the bench as we made wholesale changes to our starting lineup. His 4th goal of the year equalized things at 1, and that is once again where we end up, which is giving me a lot of thought as to our situation this year. We did make one additional change that we haven't touched on, and that is we decided to scrunch in the sidelines of our pitch. We've gone with a less wide pitch, even though the length is the same, a little less running for our team. We don't have a ton of width. We play mostly through the middle. Most of our opponents also play mostly through the middle, so I don't know if we are catering to their strengths or if we are trying to cater to our own. That change, however, well, that could be what our issue is. So we made some changes to our tactic to accommodate for a little bit wider play, even though a narrower pitch, even though we're playing on one of the widest pitches in the league as we visit Calvary FC. And it looked like we got off to a great start with Alain Didier adding his 5th goal of the season. But in the 21st minute, it was Warshevsky for Calvary, putting them back even at 1. A couple of minutes later, he would add his 2nd of the match. This one, a blast from range that George Marks barely even saw and certainly didn't catch up to. He'd complete the hat trick before the half, thanks to an assist from an old friend of ours, Cameron Habibullah. 3 for Vancouver. We threw the water bottle and yelled at the team at the half. Thought it did the trick as Alain Didier chipped the goalkeeper for his 2nd. We thought Didier was going to lead us back to glory, but the Habibullah corner gets bandied about. Kobza throws it over. It's off of the post. Ultimately hits, you guessed it, Warshevsky for his 4th goal of the match. He would add a 5th as he busts through the center, beats George Marks near post to make it 5-2. We would get one back. Guess who? Alain Didier on the end of a centering pass from Mohamedou Kane, putting the header past Carducci. But 5-3 is where we were going to end up. Alain Didier with a hat trick. It ended up being far, far from enough. So as we hit a break in our regular season in order to prepare for our 2nd round matchup in the Canadian Championship quarterfinal against Forge FC, we need to take stock of where we are, which is not a pretty position. Sitting in 7th place on the table on 3 points with a -3 goal difference. I guess that's our only saving grace, is that we have only lost the 2 matches that we have lost by a total of 3 goals. Still not looking good. 8 points off of the top of the table already behind Halifax Wanderers. Still plenty of time to make up. We've got 23 matches remaining in the regular season. So we are not hitting the panic button yet, but I'm starting to feel like our team has given up on the season, much like we have. Our one saving grace is if we win this match, we make it through the semifinals of the competition and an automatic berth in the CONCACAF Champions Cup for Vancouver FC for the 4th consecutive season, which would kind of soften the blow if we do happen to have the kind of regular season that we seem to be off to. We also had a team meeting. We are all pulling in the right direction. We're not letting our heads drop, or at least that is what the team swears to us. A couple of changes to be made. Here is our starting lineup as we take on Forge FC, a team that we are not expected at the moment to beat. We are working on our tactical familiarity. We have been making a lot of tweaks lately. It's going to be George Marks in goal. A back three of Noah Abatna, Hayden Sargis, and Lucas Dasovic. Castillo and Pertuz will be on the wings with Costa and Johnston manning the midfield. It'll be a strike pair of Yevhen Ryazantsev and Alain Didier, our one true saving grace for this season. And in support behind them at the number 10 will be 29-year-old Noah Veerhoven. Hayden Sargis making his season debut here in the regular season / Canadian Championship. He has been out with an injury since the preseason. Forge FC going with their normal back seven, very defensive formation. We're going to try to break through and find a way to get on the board first and get on the board more than once. Farguson with a free kick, looking back post. George Marks doesn't need to get his hand on that one because it's popped up over, but an early opportunity for Forge FC as they look to try to strike first blood. Kolelat getting things started from his own 6-yard box. Olasunde up the far sideline is able to get the ball to Brior. Kayagari ahead for Ferguson, playing it across, intercepted by Pertuz. He'll look to go the other way. Veerhoven up for Alain Didier in a bit of traffic. Will feed it wide to the left. He's got Castillo with space up the far sideline. Castillo into the box, centers it. Veerhoven shoots it, and Kolelat gets his body in front of that and will knock it behind for a Vancouver FC corner. It's going to be taken from the near side by Juan Castillo. Looking near post, can't pick out his man. Acosta will drop it down before Kayagaro is able to finally clear it away. Since that early attack, Vancouver FC has been able to pour it on, throwing 10 shots on goal so far in less than half an hour. Isaiah Johnston, the Veerhoven, quickly to Costa, feeding Didier in behind the line, but he cannot beat Kolelat. It's going to be a free kick, however, as Didier was just slightly offside. That is the one downside to his attack. He is very potent when he gets the ball, but sometimes he can be just that little bit offside first. Ryazantsev to send in the corner. Hoyabspor trying to clear it, but Johnston is there. Veerhoven putting it over the crossbar, and it will be out for a Forge FC goal kick. Less than 5 minutes remaining here in this first half. Forge looking to carry it up. Colazzo along the near side, flipping it across. Brior playing it ahead. Ferguson swept away, though, by Costa, and Vancouver FC once again in control. Isaiah Johnston playing it ahead. Back for Costa. He's got Ryazantsev in the middle. Didier with a shot. He had an absolute sitter. He was onside, but he could not find the target. About a minute and a half remaining. We'll see how much time gets added on at the end of this first half. Done over for Olasunde. Forge FC looking to forge ahead. Bruyere up the right wing, still with some space. Looking back post, finds Taron Campbell with his second goal of the season. And once again, Vancouver FC find ourselves down in the early-ish going. We find ourselves down first. It's Vancouver FC 0, Forge FC 1. And that was really just a bad defensive play by Juan David Pertuz. He didn't feel Campbell coming up behind him, didn't go up for the header, and Campbell stepped in front of him and took care of business. I have to admit, it is monumentally disappointing finding your team in the apparent driver's seat, dominating the match in every way, shape, or form, and then finding themselves down on the wrong end of a 1-0 score. Yevhen Ryazantsev, 5 minutes into the second half, carries it deep, plays it back post. Alain Didier hits that post, and Kayagari will clear it away. Opportunities coming again and again and again for Alain Didier, and for the first time this season has been unable to take advantage. Let's see if George Marks can get things going here. We are creeping in on the hour mark. Alain Didier with a 6.1 rating. That is reflective of the opportunities that he has had and that he has failed to capitalize on. The offside, hitting the post, the absolute sitter that sailed wide. All of these things add up. And when your best player isn't firing on all cylinders, you are in big, big trouble. Riazantsev, he's got Didier with a chance, taking the shot from range, and again, just missing the target. He dragged it wide one more time. We're going to give Didier till like the 70th minute mark, unless we go down 2-0 here, which blissfully we did not. Thank you to George Marks for getting your hands on that one, but it will lead to another Forge FC corner, this one coming from the near side. Poku sending it in. Pertuz can't clear it. Neither can Costa. Neither can Verhoeven. Poku with it again into the middle. Silva's shot is going to be blocked by Costa. Happy to concede another corner, so they say, but another chance for Poku to send it in. This time finds Campbell. Costa clears it successfully. Up ahead, Costa intercepted, but Verhoeven will get it back. Dezovic playing it ahead. Isaiah Johnston, who has done a pretty nice job in the midfield for us today. Hayden Sargis for Pertuz into the middle. Riazantsev, he's got Didier. Didier, can he find the pass? He does. Castillo keeping it in along the near side. Dropping it back. Noah Abatna looking to his right. He's got Hayden Sargis. Sargis thinks about sending it up to Pertuz, but instead will drop it up to Dazovic. Johnston. Near side Castillo, back for Abatna, ahead, Riazantsev, flipping it forward, Didier, is he onside? He settles it down, he puts it home, and the flag is up along the far side. Alain Didier called for offside once again, and once again, a beautiful opportunity for Vancouver FC falls by the wayside, and we really do have no choice but to get Mohamedou Kane in the game. Noah Verhoeven will be replaced by Rodolfo Novaes. Juan David Pertuz has not really draped himself in glory. Dante Campbell will take his place on the pitch. 17 shots for Vancouver FC, make it 18, but only 5 on target. So we are going to go very attacking. We are going to demand more from our team in this final 10 minutes, but it could be too little, too late, and finding ourselves on the wrong end of the scoreline once again as Forge FC comes into our house and knocks us out of the Canadian Championship. Meanwhile, what does not help is when Alain Didier's strike partner, Yevon Riazantsev, has not scored in his last 14 matches. And Kane is facing a confidence crisis as well. He hasn't scored in 12. Makes me wonder where the fight went in our team and if maybe we just start looking for a new club sooner rather than later, because the spunk that they've shown over the last 3 seasons, well, it appears to be completely gone. If you like that, you masochist, make sure you hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are new or if you have not done so already. If this is your first Mr. Cellophane video, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope to see you tomorrow with more of the American dream, which is fading faster and faster by the moment. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.